Everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show panel discussion. Got Tim and Lynn with me, longtime friends. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
guys
having
will
me
see
too.
me out there as LA Moon. And some of you are brand new in the chat room, so we're just saying, hey, that's us.
Okay. And oh, looks like Keith is going on in 30 minutes. Okay, well. Okay. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about that.
He's our very dear friend. Keith Andrews has a lot of answers for the seeker.
Yeah, so I guess he's not going to be able to come on tonight. That's okay. That's all right.
He's on Friday through Tuesday at 10 p.m. And then he does his office show during the afternoon sometimes.
His link is in the description, okay? So, we're still talking telepathy, and this is no longer... Now, I called this one Unimatrix Human because I'm not talking about just a certain group, right? I'm talking about all of us. And, well, the slideshow from the first hour was from these aliens that live in New Mexico. Yes, they are residential. Yes, they live here. They this has been their home for a long time, and
they got dropped off with the rest of us.
Well, they're definitely separate from the rest of us.
Oh yeah, very much so.
I don't know really what their story is, but I'm sure Keith would be able to shed some light on it, because perspective, context, knowing what's what, they are aware of the Federation. So I'm like, oh, well, they have talked about the Federation. I was watching some of Amy's shows with Sue Watson, I believe, or Sue Walker, and
Alien Girl 111.
Yes. Well, it's Good Morning UFO now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She goes. She changed her show name, and she has asked to be referred to as that, so I do. But it is Amy, Alien Girl 111, right? The bodies, the documents, the craft with my dirty cup. And Raven sent me the link for the PDF, and I had forgotten that she had her on, Sue Walker. Sue, I'm just gonna say Sue, right?
Right.
3 years ago, and oh, what a show it was! It was one of her deep dives, and it is so good. Link is now in the description. If you have to go see that one, go see it. It's a long show. It's a 2-hour show. Amy's show that time. And hey, Dorothy, welcome back. I'm glad you could make it. And Aussie Boss is saying, like and subscribe. If you're here, you're quantum. Heck yeah. Thank you. And Frank is in the background. Let me get him. He is making sure all of our
everyone's
okay. Good people.
He's lurking around back there.
Yeah. Hey, just so everybody knows, and Sarah's watching the other side of the wall.
Hi there.
Sarah is watching from the other side. I told you.
There's actually a window right behind me.
Right. Okay. But
that sounded creepy.
Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Aussie.
Just so everyone knows, this is a blog channel. I am not reporting. I'm not Joe Rogan or anybody like that, right?
Oh, if you were, I wouldn't be here.
Right. I'm not. I am. We are. This little show is fringe of the fringe. If you want to disagree, fine. discuss it with us. We'll flesh some things out. It's great. If you want to
Be
troll,
polite.
get the hell out. We got no time for you if you're gonna troll. But we can discuss things all the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And be polite. You know, we're people too. We have feelings.
Yeah, and even if you want to be gruff, you don't have to no name calling. And I try to keep the politics out of it, but sometimes we just can't. And
Shit
like,
happens.
yeah, and I don't want to bring up a bunch of medical stuff because, well, it's not for here. Okay.
None of us are doctors.
Well, not just that. Like, uh, oh, yeah, medical stuff happens. Deal with it, please. That's all. And
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Kelly, welcome back. She was here for the
Hi,
first
Drift Speed.
and
Good to
welcome
see
back
you.
to Speed. See, I told you were quantum. You're here for some reason.
Yeah,
By the way,
really.
Drift, how did you find the show? Because I put out links all over. I'm just kind of curious. Put it in the chat when you get a minute, please. But yeah, going over what I'm considering whole mind telepathy, which is more conscious, shared consciousness than telepathy. Telepathy is words and maybe a picture. It's kind of like um it's kind of like texting, okay? And that's some heavy rules there. Whole mind consciousness sharing is a little different where Unimatrix, your full mind is going, you smell things, you hear things, you feel things. Like, has anyone ever in a dream felt panel, right? Has anyone
Yes.
ever felt from a dream that if you fell or if you were driving a car or something, you can still smell the leather of the car or smell the
Yeah.
exhaust or something? Or if you ever fell and you're like, oh, my elbow hurts. And
Yeah.
you wake up and your elbow hurts, so to speak.
Yes.
I don't know why I said elbow, okay? That just came to me. But you feel something here. Oh, yeah, was it it's that whole mind consciousness working.
It
Let me tell you.
is. You know, I'd like to tell a story if I might. What you got? It's a form
Yeah.
of. It's a what?
Form
Writing
of
is a form.
telepathy.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's
It
conveying
is.
one thought to another
That's how I
mechanically.
got my start. This is my whole gig. This is my whole
Yeah.
gig.
I learned it from you, Dad.
Oh my God! Am I gonna have to start carrying cards now? And you know, Storm and I had gone with a couple of friends to have a drink one night, and they had a shot, and I had Coke because I don't imbibe. And we're sitting there, and we're doing our, we're doing chatting it up, watching somebody sing or something. I forget anymore, but we're just having a nice time with each other and talking. And a cold chill went down my spine, and I'm like, "What?" You know, and this is not a place to feel a cold chill because it's 105 degrees outside and the air conditioning isn't keeping up with it. And I start looking for what is it that's upset, what is it that set my oshitometer off, okay? And I looked out over at a corner where the door was, and a man walked in as I turned to look. And he was wearing a full-length coat. Now, you could say, well, my natural paranoia, also known as longevity, looked over there and said, it's time to leave. And I looked at Storm, and Storm had an odd look on his face, too. He hadn't seen the man, but he saw my reaction. And I said, it's time to leave. It's time to go now. He goes, got it. And our friend, who's basically, I don't know how she breathes for herself, but anyway, she's just she's clueless. But I don't want to leave. I haven't finished my drink. I said, yeah, you have. Pick her up, take her out over your shoulder if you gotta. And we made for the door fast. And I looked at the bouncer and I said, "You have a problem. You've got a big problem." And what's that? I said, "Man walked in this establishment with a long coat on. Go." I said, "That does not bode well." He goes, "Huh?" I'm like, "Why are you a bouncer? Why are you here checking people?" I said, "You just let somebody in here with a gun." And we got out and went to the car. Next day, yep, this imbecile had taken a sawed-off shotgun in there. and it was stopped before anything bad happened, but I felt him before I saw him. Now, is that telepathy? Is it psychic ability? Yeah, all of the above.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say all of the above.
Yeah, and I listen to my thought processes. I listen to my body. But his aura hit us before anything else did. His intention hit. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Is you can have those things and never have any reason for them. You just know it's time to go.
Dorothy is saying that's wild, a flash of foresight at a critical time. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's not insight, it's foresight. Where
Mhm.
let's live what I say in the first hour, live in the now, what's going on around you, be perceptive.
Yes.
Don't let it overtake you, but be perceptive to it.
Well, I was just telling the guys here, paranoia is kind of a dirty word. But when you turn paranoia into longevity, it's not anymore. It's the real feeling of, gee, something's about to happen. I need to go. Now, if you turn that into anxiety and it's a whole nother form of craziness. It's the control of it that's important.
You're right.
Right.
You know, you said perception of something, the whole story, perception of something, right?
Mhm.
And today, I had a list of things to accomplish today, but something kept me home. I don't know what it was, but I heard sirens once, and I think I may have dodged a bullet. I don't know
I
why.
will bet on it.
I don't need to know why. It rained like heavy today, so I'm not even worried about that I didn't get stuff done. The things are not super critical, so I got the clothes done. Mission
Yeah.
accomplished, you know?
Now,
And
telepathy too, though. It's like this morning. I was expecting a friend to come over, and I looked over at Storm and said, "She's not coming today." No, I have no reason to say that. I have no experience. Is that this gal will go regardless of the weather and anything else. But today was not her day. About, wow, no, maybe 10, 15 minutes later, she called me. Okay. Said, "I can't do it today. I can't." And I'm like, "No problem." You know, but I had planned on her all week. There was no reason to come up with it half an hour, 20 minutes before and saying, "Nope, she's not coming." You know?
right. Yeah, and I will say it again from show number 1. We are where we're at because of some reason. And
Yeah.
Drift Speed is saying mindfulness is next to godliness, And he gives some examples. Sherlock Holmes' most written about character, mindful good. Dracula's second most written about character, parasitic bad, etc. Those are some examples. I don't
They're
really know how to.
wildly different, aren't they?
Yeah, good and bad. A lot of that is perception. A lot of that is, how you're. I mean, I hate
Yeah.
to say go the Obi-Wan route. It's in how you look at it, and it's like, oh my god. But yeah,
Well, it
that's
is though. We've been brought up all this time, really, in the last 200 years, vampires are bad. Now, wait a minute. Go back a little bit further and find out what a vampire is. It's a person with porphyria.
Mm.
And
okay.
porphyria
Oh,
is a whole nother matter.
now
It's a disease.
there is still so much unknown about vampires
Oh, yeah.
because, oh wow, um, that's one sort. Okay,
It is. And there's other kinds, for sure.
right? There are other sorts, and I don't think like porphyria is an affliction. Okay,
It is.
and I don't think that all. I think that humans have put all these people in one category,
Hmm.
and because we don't understand it, we'll get there eventually, but we just don't understand. But I think knowing self and a lot of this telepathy and whole mind consciousness will lead us to those things, to more learning. And um the chat's going on, but I'm not gonna look at the
Yeah,
chat.
it's pretty
But
fast. I would say with many things, we have a perception of them. We're brought up with a certain idea because, well, our parents' opinions quite often are our own. And once we
yeah,
start to unravel some of it and realize where those perceptions came from, they aren't always on the money. 100 years, 200 years ago, it was common idea that anyone who was mentally ill was damned,
very
out of the
true.
box damned. Do we think that now? Of course we don't. Then into that box went the blind, the deaf, autism, all of those little
Right.
labels that we have now didn't exist then.
Right. It was very
What do
short
they do now?
sighted back then.
Yes.
They just and they didn't understand it. So
Oh,
now we're starting to look at those things. And I am so glad telepathy and autism are being looked at because autism brought up telepathy, and that is right up our alley.
hmm
Yes.
Because, I mean, a lot of that stuff, if you continue through that, there are more examples of things of telepathy and how to use telepathy. By the way, that was written for brand new people at this stuff. This was people who have a raw talent and they know about it and they don't know how to use it. That was what that thing was made for, right? And these
Barnes and
things,
Noble magic book.
right? And all these
Yeah.
we bring up experiences. Okay, guys, we got to give context to the audience. They don't really have a lot of context for this stuff, and
We were
um,
searchers once too, is what we're trying to say. We
yes,
didn't come with the answers. We had to go find them.
right, and we've all learned to use the abilities that we have. I believe they're already built in. They're hardwired. We got this, right? And drift
Mhm,
speed in the first hour was talking about intrusive thoughts, right?
mhm.
And being in a loop and psychic and spiritual attacks. Well, we're built with Fortress Maximus right into us. We have built-in defenses. It's our routine, and the better at it that we are at recognizing these things, the more we can flex our muscles, right? So uh, I'm trying not to drift around. I had some notes, but Well, you know,
You got somebody in there who loves to look at your notes
right.
and just
Yeah.
sort of makes off with them. Someday you're gonna find a pile of these things in the corner and say, "Up, I knew should have cleaned in there."
But something else that was coming up in that slideshow that we didn't get to was nations. Now, they were talking about much like the groups of the races that Keith talks about,
Mhm.
they refer to them as nations. And it's not how we understand it with charters and constitutions and borders. It wasn't that way. That's not how they were meaning it. They're all out there like the galaxy, the universe is one environment, and everybody has their boundaries and borders to their environment, and that is their nation, not necessarily all one kind of people. Like, well, we've discovered we have living on Earth. If, the Sandia Mountains, there's two types of gray there, and we have the um, insectoid mantis people, the Kliklak. I don't know if that's the see. That's a name, Kliklak. Let me just look at that. That's a name, and uh, looking at the telepathy tapes and all the stuff, the communications that we are receiving as people has been customized for us. What
Right.
Keith's getting is not necessarily what they're telling me because my perception is different. Same thing with both of y'all, right? The
Oh, yeah.
perception will be different. So I'm not disagreeing. I am reinterpreting. Okay. And just Keith and I, we're still on the same frequency.
Yeah,
All
it's a
right.
different experience.
Right.
Yeah.
And
One's click clack is another person's zick glick.
right. How they
Yeah.
present to you. Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like,
in English, a German person is German. In German, they're Deutsch.
right. It's how it's put across.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I like to do things in computer speak, right? So one person might be listening to music in a WAV file. One person might be listening to it in MP3 file. Does that make it a different song? No, it's a different method of listening to it, but it's the
Yes.
same song. I think that's a
Yeah.
pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Two,
fair.
two different
You know,
two different machines even.
yeah, it could be two
And
different.
yeah, I understand what Sarah is saying entirely. At I started reading and writing at 3 years old, and I'm lefty. And the the woman that was teaching me how to write was a dear friend of my parents, and she'd whack me on the hand and say, "Do you want to grow up to be a witch? Do you?" Yeah. Well, I guess she
Joke's on her.
jokes on her. You know?
Okay, Drift Speed is commenting from what I said a few minutes ago. Every telepathic experience I had sent me into a place of insanity. I stopped for a long time, then had two undoubtable events and confirmed them with another person. We both knew it was real. Yes, they're real, but
Oh,
why
really?
did it send you to that place? Um,
The
it
preconceived notion of what it was.
or maybe you have a very strong sensitivity to this stuff, and that place of insanity was an altered reality, like people are seeing with DMT experiences.
Right.
It may perception, bro. Perception. I did a whole show on that, right? And it is like one of the tenets of the quantum show is perception. It's how you look at things and how we interpret things. So, what was it? It was uncomfortable and you didn't like it, so that made it bad. But you were younger then. Now, what is it? Perception. Okay, I don't know how old you are, but if you're younger, if when you turn 40, you're going to look back because by the time you're 40, I was still really busy with everything, doing everything, getting busy being a jet setter, all that. right? But then I started to slow down and take a step back, and things look different when I look back. We were talking about this before, and yeah, I don't know how old you are, but your perception is going to change even if you don't turn 40. But from yesterday to today, you know, your perception will change. And the way you put it, a place of insanity, I believe we experience that all the time, but we call it altered state. Tim, you do it more. I do it. Lynn,
Right.
you do it. And
Um, Meditation's part of my daily routine. But
right,
I think too, when you're first involving yourselves in psychic activity, in uh, things that you may have been told were incorrect to be doing, or have been labeled by others as uh, a bad otherworldly thing, then you're like, oh my God, am I a bad person? Am I going against the universe? The
or the
answer to
church.
that is no, you're not. No,
Right.
you're not.
You are what you are. And
God
I
doesn't make junk.
right, there are no mistakes, just happy accidents, Bob Ross. But
Happy little bushes and trees.
right. And Dorothy's saying, I
There.
guess stories of people saying who hears things not heard by others are crazy could make you feel that way when it happens to you. Yeah, well,
They
you,
encourage you to hear things not heard by others when it's approved by your religious background. But when you go out on your own and you strike out with something like telepathy, it may make you feel crazy for exactly the same reason.
Yeah.
right,
Telepathy came about with me when I was very uh, not quite a teen. Came in with puberty, I think. And I thought, what is happening to me? I'm hearing all of these voices and they're coming from everywhere, and quite often it's diagnosed as bipolar, schizoaffective.
hmm
And yet, no, because you don't get over that. I got over this. And I started realizing that occasionally I was getting a snippet of thought from this one and that one because it would come out of their mouth a second or two later, or maybe a minute later. So, it's perception. But when you first experience these things, you think, my God, I had one too many drinks last night, or I shouldn't eat goat's milk cheese anymore, and try to
Right.
establish some reason for it. And it's no reason. You're just gifted, and sometimes gifts are a double-edged sword.
right.
even
You gotta
even
go ahead, Tim.
I'm sorry. Even if there's something involved, like you've eaten the special head cheese from England and you're having vivid dreams, I love that analogy that you put there. You're still experiencing a form of consciousness that is outside of your norm. You're
Right.
still experiencing a slightly altered reality where you do hear things that are. I've tried the cheese; it's nice. You get this warm feeling of the Fey world and stuff coming up,
Oh, yeah.
bubbling up from your dreams.
Yeah, it looks to me to drift speed. You're gifted, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have to look into it,
Yes.
read a few
Mhm.
books, and get a handle on it because you can.
Let me go
You
ahead and read this
can. We
out
all
for the
have.
people. I'm going to read this out. Hearing others and knowing their thoughts or projecting things to people by accident and they freak out. Social trauma and experiencing the impossible makes you think you're nuts. You know what? You're going to, it sounds like you haven't done what I have done. And this is a personal thing. I'm not saying everybody needs to do this. This is just what I did. Everyone ends up doing this in in different words. You make the
Yeah.
conscious decision to accept it and interpret it. and learn it. You have to make I made the conscious decision to I literally sat here, meditated, and said, "Give me what you got, I'll deal with it." Literally. And it was like over and over again until it all flooded in. But it seemed like I had some kind of a handler to help me and not give me too much.
I think
And
everybody does. It's called your guardian spirit or your
right,
angel,
I'm pretty
a
sure it was,
guide.
yeah, but you have to make the conscious decision that you want this and you're going to live with it and you're going to interpret it and it's good because it is good. Now, what you choose to do with it, that is up to you, okay?
That's all
The
on
data,
you.
like you can't change the world, how you deal with the world, okay? Now, I hope this is helping because I am seeing a, some I'm seeing a way here, right? I'm seeing you're painting a good picture for me, and Drift Speed is coming up again. I've managed to get about baseline, so I know I'm all good, and now I'm working my way up, knowing I have to embrace it. Because if I reject it, well, I can't. My spirit soul won't let me. You know what? It's like I refuse to use my left hand. You can't do that. When you're gifted like this, you cannot turn it off. Might as well use it. Okay? You're gonna hurt yourself because with your left hand goes your left arm goes your balance, as
Yeah.
an example, as a comparison.
And
So
balance is a real good way of putting it.
yeah, and if you try to stop this, then you will throw off everything else about you. Okay, I have had to accept this stuff, and I don't. You know what? I use ginseng and things and like vitamin B, just like in that slideshow. If you read the slideshow, he's saying, "Okay, thank you so much. I'm listening to every word." Yeah, Just Feet, you strike me as someone either much younger than me or with um had more distraction and now it's gone and now all this other stuff is popping up. So
Right.
I don't know, right? But you strike me as a younger person. Just saying, especially that name, Drift Speed. Yeah, you're talking cars, bro. You
17
talk
to
cars.
25.
Yeah, sounds like a 25-year-old or below.
Thereabouts. And that's okay. Believe me, we were all there once.
Yeah, Drift
In
Speed,
fact, I'll trade place with you anytime you want.
you got a Subaru. I'm thinking you got a Subaru, bro. How many times have you redone your heads? Raven's coming in. Hey,
Raven.
Raven.
Hey, Raven. Good to see you.
Great.
Oh, we got the chair view today
Oh,
with
yeah.
armor in the background. Awesome.
Oh,
That's-
you know what? Oh gosh.
Don't move it. It's okay.
You're good. That's
You're
good.
all perfect.
Oh,
Just a happy accident. Don't worry
there, it's
about
coming on. Let's get it
it.
in. Yeah. I had to move several trees and large limbs to get out of my house and down my driveway tonight. I didn't
Us
leave the house all
too.
day. Did you? Nathan,
Oh
did
my
you get
God.
clobbered today
Yeah,
with that
we got
storm?
a big storm today.
We had it yesterday. And
We had,
man, I thought, am I going to be able to do a show? As much dust and grimes in the air, and fine.
I lost power for 3.5 hours.
That's
We
not
got-
too bad. Big 3 days.
Huh?
we got a pile of dust on the windshield, orange dust from Texas that doesn't look like any of the other dust here.
Oh,
It's
really?
Texan.
Oh, Kalichi? Did you get
We got
Kalichi?
caliche. Yeah.
Yeah.
Caliche is a type of soil, and it's a clay type, and it's bright orange, and it
Yeah.
sticks to every damn thing. So if you wash your car, figure on twice.
Yeah. Wow.
I figured it had to come out from way out west, but yeah, it's not like anything that's the clay here is much softer and brown, and this is like a deep red, like tomato juice or ketchup.
That's glitchy, all right.
I've never heard of that before.
We got a lot of soot and smoke and stuff from the wildfires in California. So there you are, and we have a very good saying that Arizona blows and Texas sucks.
That's funny.
And I'm sorry to anybody who's Texan. That puts New Mexico right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I was looking at the radar earlier, and they thought it was going to stay west, but now it's going every which way in my area.
I tell you what, I nearly got sucked out of the door and out in it. I opened up the door. I have a couple retarded cats. They won't come in. They just stand there and look at me. And I'm screaming at them. And the wind is just like, and I swear one had to like gone overhead. And it all of a sudden just, I don't know. It happened so fast. I really don't know what exactly happened. But I had to grab a hold of both that and then something else because I was being sucked out the door. And it was like, and then the hail came down. We had hail about a quarter size. It was my whole deck is absolutely trashed. Everything is broken. I got those tall like patio heaters. They're mangled, and yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess.
I'm sorry.
We had like 84 degrees the day before, which is just unheard of for Illinois this time.
Oh yeah.
You know what? It went from like
warm here too.
Yeah, it went from like high 50s to 75, and I was like, "Oh wow, this feels like a tornado coming." But that blew away. That stayed up at upper atmosphere. They saw it coming, but it didn't touch down near me. It touched down in other places.
Yeah.
Apparently, we had a whole bunch touchdown around here, but this is an old house, and it's a leaky house, and it doesn't like maintain pressure like a newer house does.
Right.
So it doesn't blow out the top. It just kind of shakes.
Where I live in New Mexico, if we get a tornado, which we won't usually, it will knock stuff apart there at the mountains. Except one day it didn't. It hit my house. And we watched it come down the street, and I yelled for everybody. I said, "Everybody open a window near you and get in the bathroom." Bathroom was in the middle of the house and low barren walls,
Yeah.
And everybody did what I asked. Everybody's in the bathroom, grabbed the dog on my way, and it hit the house, took the roof off anyhow.
Oh my God.
Dang.
That had to been terrifying.
I was brought up in Ohio. I mean, tornado, yes, so and I've seen some pretty bad ones. I saw the destruction of Xenia and some of that. I actually saw that one up close and personal. But tornadoes, they're freak of nature, and you gotta go with them.
My mom
my family wasn't hurt. I didn't give a damn for the house.
Yeah, we got insurance on the house. I ain't worried about that.
Yeah, I can replace the house. I can't replace my family.
I've noticed that historical houses like in South Carolina seem to survive these storms over and over and over.
Yeah.
They were built. Things back then were built to last.
Yeah, the walls didn't come down on that house. The roof went. And
the roof.
That's kind of funny. What's really hilarious, that house was haunted. And you know who that house belonged to? The guy that discovered Pluto, Thomson.
Really?
Thomason.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and his study was actually in our second floor down, and that thing was haunted as all get out. His study and his office, you could see him walking back and forth all the time.
So he
I
was
figure it
there.
was him. He'd look at me and say, "What the hell are you doing here?" and walk on by me. I'm like, you know. But it's hilarious, looking back at it. But that tornado hit our house and jumped over the church next door,
Hmm.
which was also founded by Thomason.
Hmm.
So
My mom, yeah, her family, it was like an old wives' tale. She said that take a candle, a taper candle, and light it and watch the flame. And if that flame bends the other side, you've got a tornado on top of you. Like, well, it's a little late then, isn't it? Give me a 5 minutes advance notice or something. I mean,
it sounds like the pressure hit the candle.
yeah.
But yeah, she's right.
Yeah, if you want pre-notice, look at the spiders. They know what's up. I know you
yeah.
hate to
Ants
do
will
that,
come
Raven.
in before
Yeah, critters.
a
I had
storm.
ants in the kitchen. Yeah, I had ants in the kitchen yesterday morning. And what about the spiders? What do they do?
They will they speak their own language, okay? But they will tell you if you observe them, you can learn their behaviors. You can learn about the weather, about people coming over, all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Spiders and bees, okay? Spiders and bees.
I
They
have
look
to
at
get all the
different
spiders
things.
out of my shop vac. I suck the little bastards up in that. I can't stand them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that on YouTube they have, or not YouTube, Facebook had this little girl sweetly standing in front of a burning building. Okay,
Yeah.
and she has got the spider,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that sounds like Storm.
Yeah,
A little overshot, but it definitely worked.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm speaking of Storm, I'm gonna have to talk to him later because I need some help with something.
No problem.
I gotta figure this stuff out, man. Um,
Honest, and for true, I'm gonna tell you absolutely. Storm lives for tech. He
okay, good.
loves it. It's his second language.
Well, I'm gonna
Loves
need
it.
this thing has come up with all kinds of short videos. And let me tell you, the shorts that the AI assistant came up with for the last show, not very good. I looked at them and they were choppy and like, what is this? You know, so, but I can't find them again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I need to look at them up. It sends me an
Yeah.
email. It might be in my email.
Storm, he's sitting here. Storm, give Nathan a hand after a show. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. I need to look again because it sends me an email. It says your short AI clips are ready. Click this link, and I'm like, I need to do that.
I
again.
think I wouldn't.
Huh?
That makes me nervous.
Oh, it's
Something you requested.
StreamYard. It's StreamYard.
Oh.
Telling me my AI clips are ready because I requested them. I requested that they be done, and it's just a function, right?
Right.
But
And it sounds like something you can use later and use to great advantage.
Yeah. But I need to be able to get to them, and it's like, But okay, weather has been crazy. All the animals tell us. Telepathy, right?
Telepathy.
Okay.
And we can stay on the animals and be telepathy. Did you know that ants form a TCP/IP network?
No.
Actually, I did. They're really, really connected to one another.
Yeah. And bees dance. Theirs is a form of dance. Their communication, their language they produce a vague picture for the queen, and the queen makes all decisions. I saw it on a documentary. It was beautiful.
It only makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
we look at them, we've called them the dumb animals for years. They are not dumb. Boy,
They're
they're
not.
not.
They're
There's
very specific in their communication.
Yeah, it's like this crazy
yes.
schnauzer wants my plate every night. I can bank on it.
We have a schnauzer too.
Yeah, hey Raven, who do you have in your lap right now?
This one's Buster.
Hi,
So,
Buster.
hey Buster,
Turn around, say hi.
Quantum tonight.
Yeah.
He says, "I want to be in this show."
I heard no very clearly.
Say hi.
And like, yeah, talking about the animals that, well, they were talking about animal telepathy. I was in the telepathy tapes. There are some extras that you can watch, right? If you have watched them on YouTube, and
I've
they
been
talk.
watching them, by the way.
Isn't it cool? Isn't it
Yeah.
cool? Hmm.
Go ahead.
But they have been taking scientific notes, and they are. It seems like they're intentionally turning themselves off to put it into note form. You know, right here, camera, turning it into note form, turning themselves off and blocking themselves off to be able to turn it into note form. And I really do hope Ross Coulthart, if he's into this and he just doesn't want to spin a show, he learns about this stuff, right? Because the telepathy tapes are really good. And it is great for people who have no knowledge of this stuff to learn about this stuff. And
Yeah.
Going back to the telepathy tapes, of course, obviously, what these kids have is they have the inability to communicate with this, so they use something else. And they're really good at something else. And we have had that too, but we're sensitives, okay?
Yeah.
It's not that,
Anybody who has it, it's a sensitive as well. It
right,
doesn't matter what age you are.
right. And we're not turning off this. It's not that our this doesn't work, that we can't communicate, because obviously we're right here, okay? We're using our physicality to do a web show together, but we have that extra stuff that in most of society it's turned off, and it's ignored. Rather, it's ignored. Like, oh, this is like our logical mind says, oh, well, this data is not good for me, I just tune it out, like background noise. Well, and drift speed, this is a good thing for you, bro, because
Yes.
it's like all that stuff is making itself a lot more known, and maybe you're misinterpreting it, right? Because that's what those telepathy tapes guys are doing, is they're putting it in information format that most people can understand.
Yeah.
And
And it's accessible. These things are not parlor tricks. They're not games. They need to be used astutely. They need to be used wisely. So, learning as much as you can about it allows you to be a better human, a better citizen, just better overall. It's a leg up, and you should use it.
right, and something that went into that I did cover was emotional awareness of yourself.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Be emotionally aware and accept the things that you're feeling, and don't think that you're better or worse. You're just there, like a person in a crowd, right? A person, ball games, races, right? You're in a crowd on the bleachers. Are you better than the guy sitting next to you? No, you both have your own perceptions. You're both in the crowd. You're watching something happen. You're taking it in. You're not forcing him to think of it any way, and he's not forcing you to think of it anyway. You're just watching it. I think that's a pretty good analogy. I don't know. It just came to me right like that. But
Pinky's brought up a little something here that I think is interesting. Is part of the human body. If it does, turn it on or off. sometimes it's not that simple. It really isn't. You can't turn off and on your breathing, at least you
Right.
shouldn't.
It
Your
sounds
heart
like,
goes by itself. So do many of these gifts.
yeah, like Drift is talking about what he's talking about, and Pinky is something that you can turn on or off. Uh, I wish
Mm.
it was that easy, right? Because he's talking about intrusive thoughts. Well, that stuff he can't turn it off. Oh, uh,
Oh, okay.
just
Yeah, you're right, Pinky.
off right
Okay,
there.
okay. Thanks, Pinky.
Yay,
Appreciate
typo.
you bringing that
Right,
to the forefront and not becoming offended by it.
right.
It's
And
also they're
That
talking about
happens too often too.
this
what's that
five
again, Ray?
this 5G. We've been hearing a lot this week about how it's they got it set up to do mind control, and it, she said intrusive thoughts, and they can they've put things in the air and in the water and in the food that are like a receptor or receiver. I think is that the word I'm looking for here, Nathan?
I don't know.
Like that, but it has to do with the MK Ultra. And they were this government guy was bragging about how he said, I can make you think that you don't like that particular creamer in your coffee every morning, and I can put in your mind that you like the mocha instead of the sweet cream, and you'll go to the store and buy mocha from now on.
Oh yeah, you're talking about that's some serious MK Ultra stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot. I did this in college, right?
Brainwashing is a very difficult thing to get achieved on
Right.
a
And,
large level.
right. And the substances you're talking about, I don't know. That might be a misinterpretation of what's going on. Like, I don't think it's 5G has anything to do with it. 5G is just interference because five people have misunderstood 5G because they're not technical. Tim and I and Frank, we get it. It's a frequency set for these things, right? It is background noise, but we're already insulated against that stuff, right?
Yeah.
We are. Don't fall for the fear, right? Don't fall for the fear, the scary part of. Go ahead.
The easiest way to shield yourself is a song. Just any song, any chant, any mantra that you know really, really well, any simple prayer is all that you have to refer to cloud the mind in such a way that other things can't telepathically reach you. It's essentially a meditation of leaving it off the hook.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, leaving the receiver off the hook, right?
Right.
We
In the
covered
old days
Yeah.
with the phone, you would leave the receiver off the hook and no one can
Yes.
get you
Right.
because na 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 na. I'm doing this for the
Or
benefit of
no,
Drift
no, no,
Speed.
no. Da, 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 da.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I've ruined everybody's life for a week, haven't I?
I love that. I'm going to be singing that. Yeah, I love that.
But
That's
yeah,
it.
it does. It works like that, and mantras do too.
Yes.
Prayers quite often will. A chanted prayer like Hail Mary or Our Fathers will do it. To
Just
those who are
it
Catholic.
So
does
it puts,
something with the brain frequency that
yeah,
makes it where you're only talking to your music or your mantra or your prayer or your God or whatever you think that you're talking to.
Mhm.
It puts you where you're only in communication with that and no other calls will be received. Drift Speed is what we're saying.
yeah. And
Oh, I like the waiter.
And he has responded to us. And he's saying, of course, that some of this had driven him away from a bad lifestyle. And that sounds very like a guide saying, listen, this isn't for you. We have better things for you.
right. Yeah, it sounds like good intervention interference.
Yeah, it
Yes.
might be ugly at the moment, but just if you see any benefit at all from it, you can almost bet you it's not demonic because they don't want any good for you.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm very about the whole demonic thing. I'm going to say it again. Aliens aren't demons. Just because bears aren't demons, but they're scary. Tiger. Oh my God. I was having yesterday. I don't know why. Maybe this was a mental exercise I was putting myself through or being put through, but fear, right? I was like, what's the scariest thing I can think of? Bengal tiger. 'Cause that happened to me in real life, okay? Not going to go over the story, but I had a Bengal tiger walking in this room and it turned my monkey brain fear on, okay? And then
Sure.
and same thing with a bear. A bear walking into this room. They both are bigger than my door, okay, in my head.
Yeah.
And it turned my monkey brain all the way on both times, and I was like, and shields went up, eyes got dilated, knees and back stopped hurting. I was like, oh, and I was just meditating. It's like, holy crap. So I don't know if I put myself through that or somebody did that for my benefit. But it happened, and I was like, all my whole monkey brain turned on, and it was like,
I've had that happen to me a few times. The monkey thing, where
yeah,
you
monkey
just
brain.
all you can think of is where is the next exit and how fast can I get there?
Yeah.
And it's just as you say, it turns your mind to mush. There is no reasoning. There's only get away now.
Oh, wait, let's expound on it. Doesn't really turn your mind to much. It gets rid of all the extra shit for this.
Yeah,
Right
it's
in
about
front of you.
just everything's right here.
Right. It's not
There's your
exactly
focus.
You know,
Yeah.
but like the color of your bathroom sink is like not important right now. The mundane normal stuff is not important right now. What's in my hands? Where's how do I get away? That kind of the monkey brain survival. Yeah, that
yeah.
right. And I know what I was doing. I was okay. I was doing what this thing said that we didn't get to in the slideshow, where I was energizing my third eye. And what they do is they say to imagine energy going to your third eye, your
Pineal
pineal
gland
and
right there.
your pineal gland, and
Yeah.
that I turned it on for I don't know if it was on at 11, but that other part went to 11 for sure because the tiger and the bear, and it was
Yeah, we're in our lives at this time in this country, and most civilized countries should be the only reason why you see us. But we do not have the fight or flight mechanism so strongly activated. Now city dwellers do if they walk a lot. Because now you're on the watch for a predator. But most of the rest of us are not particularly worried about being accosted. And we don't realize that this was a normal thing for our ancestors. It was like, holy shit, I'm going to be eaten.
right. Thousands of years.
Yeah.
That monkey brain that we got was developed over thousands of years because everything on the planet was trying to eat us.
Yeah. Including the plants, probably.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of plants in the Amazon that will munch you happily.
Yeah.
Really?
It's true.
Yeah. They're carnivorous.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm not going to the Amazon today and tomorrow, and I'm busy next week too.
Yeah. Like there was a show when I was little. I think it was Land of the Lost, where there was like a Venus flytrap type plant that would eat people. And that thing just terrified me.
Yeah. I remember that. It was reruns.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
but you know, we need to think about some of these things when we're meditating, you know, and you know, like if a plant is the focus of your meditation for the day, really see that plant because it's made of cells and bits of things that if you don't know they're a brand new experience to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it opens your mind for more. And once you get a taste for it, you're going to want more. We don't feed our minds well. And doing more of that kind of thing is a very important thing to do.
Yeah.
Sarah is giving us the nice little polite red light break time. It's been an hour.
I think Aussie was saying just a minute ago, like and subscribe,
Yes, like and subscribe. If you're here, you're quantum. It is
which is a special code from Aussie to say, go get coffee and
right.
Yeah.
we're at 1 hour. So we're not going anywhere, folks. We're just
Pinky
going
has
to
a
refill
question.
the
We
coffee
will.
cup.
Pinky has a question. We'll answer it soon. Okay, but right now,
He
coffee
does.
time. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Coffee
There
too.
we go.
All right.
We have a flavor. It's long pork.
Hi, Justin. It's good to see you. Double Stafford's on the chat, huh? And I think Tim is going to get some coffee as well. And I just lost Raven.
No, I'm still here. I just
You're here.
my thing out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to grab some coffee.
All right.
Oh, God, the boys already left. Okay, well, here, I don't want to leave you stranded. I'll wait till they come back.
Leave me stranded. I used to do a show by myself for 2 hours.
Nice.
Sure.
Come on, let's go.
And not much feedback on that one.
Okay, well, when I come back.
Yeah, kitties and doggies and no bears, thank God.
Okay.
Now you can get your coffee.
Okay. All right.
Tim is back.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi.
Justin Stafford. I am also Timothy Stafford.
Yeah. That's what he was saying. Double Stafford's in chat.
Yeah, it's actually a triplet going on here. We got Sarah Stafford's my wife. For those of you that didn't know, I think most of you did, or at least guess as such. And I don't know this Justin Stafford, but he says he's from Illinois, and we actually live in Arkansas. So,
yeah.
Represent.
I don't know how common Stafford is as far as, name-wise. I would think it's not all that uncommon. Am I mistaken?
It's less common than Smith, but more common than some weird Middle Eastern name.
You know, like Moon? Oh no, dog kidding aside, my ex-husband, I never changed my name to Storm's name. I think that hyphenating that particular one just isn't going to work out for me. But when he and I parted ways, we still had kids at home, and we decided it'd be easier on them if I didn't go back to say my married name or to my maiden name. So we just didn't. And I saw no reason to change it when I married Storm. I was in the middle of a career, and you don't change when you got certifications in one name. It's very hard to get them again in another. So I just kept them as is. But my ex-husband is Cherokee Indian, and his dad was anyway, and he was half, and his dad was a Cherokee shaman
All right.
and very good at it.
Hey, what was going on with my camera?
I knew it.
It was moving around. Did y'all see
It was
anything on the
trying to
screen?
file or something. Yes.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I should
Well,
have
that's kind of why you got it, wasn't it? To see if there was things moving around that you couldn't see.
Yep.
I think you do have it. You do have it. It moved when you did, but then it moved back, and I'm looking for you back the other place.
Mm-hmm. It
So
was seeing something.
either
So-
that or your camera has its own essence.
I love this thing. I love this thing. No, it doesn't. It has a little. It has a facial recognition function, but I've got
Right.
like a little camera droid over here going on. It's pretty cool. I like that.
It was following around kind of back and forth a little bit, and there wasn't anything setting it off.
That we could see.
Right.
Well, I didn't pick up anything necessarily, but it was sure searching.
Is picking up red dust from Mars or
Or
Arizona, whichever.
5G.
Mexico,
MK Ultra taking over my camera.
Texas. Yeah, the wildfires were so bad that we actually smelled smoke.
Wow.
So, and it was strange because it just the whole area here just felt it and were upset by it.
Mm. Yeah. This I don't know. I like to say mass consciousness. We're coming to it, and it's happening more and more. So many people will deny it, but it's right in front of us.
Well, I think that what they don't realize is there's not an absence of personal cognizance. There's a addition of mass consciousness. Because we really don't lose stuff; we gain it.
Right. Yeah. And I will be really glad when it is becoming more accepted that this weird stuff is happening. It's not weird for us. It's weird for them. That's what I mean, right?
Yeah, and Aussie is saying, please like and subscribe if you're here. You're quantum.
Yes. I should say that more often. Thank you for hooking it up, Lynn.
Pinky Leader had a good idea.
You know what? I was thinking about that. I was actually thinking about that. It's just
some quantum being.
Yeah, it's a merch thing. You come up with your fancy names and you mix it back and forth with people who already sell coffee.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Sell quantum coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a merch thing, right?
It's a good name. It's a good name.
Well, and make it a good coffee. I mean, you're gonna sell it for a profit, of course, and it may as well be the good stuff. If I'm gonna buy it, I want the good stuff. Put mushrooms in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't necessarily mean those mushrooms, people.
It would all have mushrooms. I should have had mushroom coffee tonight, but I didn't think about it. And I've got I use it as an additive because it's just easy to like creamer, whatever, mushroom.
Yeah, and it's very much like the bulletproof that I use. With the MCT oil and butter.
Yeah. Yeah, but
just for clarity and to get your day started on a good note.
Right. And
There
talking
she
about
is.
Yep.
Okay.
Our Raven has returned. Talking about the stuff, right? Getting merch done is not so easy, right? There's a lot of stuff goes into it that's why the coffee cups was $40. Okay. There's a reason why it was set like that. I don't mind it, but yikes, I mean, we're not going to be able to do Dollar Tree all the time. I wish, but
Well, too, when you put a sticker on it, that requires human work. It
yeah,
requires
right.
a coffee cup in the first place, which are not cheap right now.
Yeah,
And
you got
yeah,
shipping,
the
and you
markup, the markup, the markup, guys.
yeah, and I mean, it just happens, and that's why I don't have any merch ready, right? Because
It's
uh,
difficult to maintain merch.
yeah, let's say I sold 20 T-shirts. Let's just say, okay,
But
let's
you
just
bought
say.
25 and you're sitting on 5.
Well, no, well, back up, back up. Let me just tell what I'm going through, right?
Sure.
If I sold 20 T-shirts, I did this with patches years ago in my cosplay group. It got overwhelming to where who did I send it to? Did I send the right thing? Do I have to repack it? Is it packaged correctly? Did it make it? A couple of them didn't make it. Um, and and well, I took on all the burden myself. I didn't go to like Cafe Press, you know. I flat out bought 100 patches from this place. They bulk manufactured and sent it to me in this big box, and then it was up to me to sell them and get them to their places and guard everyone's information at the same time. And it's like, oh my gosh, okay, this is a little. So I went with Etsy, and they took a big chunk. I didn't make no money from it. Okay, I didn't make any money from it, but it made it out there. You
God bless you.
bless you. It made it out there, and I didn't make any money. If I did, it was totally by accident. And
Well, I think a lot of times with like a YouTube channel, okay, you're talking about a mini entrepreneur. We're not talking a real entrepreneur. You're talking about a mini one, and merchandise it's not just having it; it's sitting on it. You've got
delivering it.
yeah, and then people get bored. No, why don't you bring out something else? And you do, and it may be more popular, it may be less popular. It's very
Yeah,
hard to gauge.
yeah. It's hard to manage this stuff. That's why I haven't done it yet because all the artwork. Look at the shows, right? I'm gonna take AI. But see, this takes time. I'm going to take an AI picture maker and I'm going to say all my headlines and I'm going to describe all my headlines, the gist of the shows, and I want a set of trading cards. I've got over 2 years of individual shows. That's
Oh
a
my
lot of
gosh,
trading cards.
you've been at it a while, haven't you?
Yeah, and that is a lot of work to do. I've got to get it's so much work that it would become a full-time job if I was to, let's say I did get them all made, right? I got all the data made. Then I got to find somebody willing to print them. And then I got to pay for that. And then, well, what about Amazon print on demand? Cafe Press is like really out. It's out because they're so expensive. A set of
Yeah.
trading cards is going to end up being $80 for a customer. And I'm like, nah,
And then you want to try to avoid get drop shipping. And when you started this thing, you were just looking for a YouTube channel. You didn't want all that.
you know who we can ask for that? Ask Amy. She knows all about the drama of doing this
Oh,
stuff.
it's a whole nother business. Suddenly you're in 2 businesses, not 1.
Yeah, and then that makes me want to hire somebody like Cafe Press because it's draining me because I got to work too, and I got to live.
There's so many brain cells to spread among it.
Yeah, maybe
You
I might call the government and say, "Hey, I need a couple of clones sent out, please. I need some more me to make things happen."
And depending on how good that clone is where is he going to work, or is he going to go visit your mom or do your grocery shopping?
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Or is he going to directive 6 your ass?
I know, right? That's
Well,
why I
that's a whole nother show. songs.
Right.
And that's why I like robots more. I've done that show. I did the robot show. I did do the clone show. I haven't done clones yet, but
Nice.
Oh
that's
my
why I
gosh.
haven't come up with a lot of merch yet. Okay, I've got a handful of graphics, potential for a lot more, but a lot of work to do to get there. And but I do want to have trading cards because I've done it before for the toy stuff, right? And I've got a whole binder full of cards that I printed and put together over here, and they turned out really good. And I sent them to some of the toy guys, and they love them because nobody else did it.
Too, it might be fun to do something like that and hold a raffle.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That
don't know how legal that would be. I mean,
oh, it's
it's a
complete.
lot of different complications, but just somebody's been with us for the whole long way. And of course, our moderators have been, most of them.
Yeah,
But those a prize here or there, for listening to the show.
yeah, and
It
That-
might be fun.
that's a whole other thing to deal with.
That's
know?
a third business, folks.
It's like, oh my gosh, I'm like, oh, can I handle it? And most of the time, it's nope. I'm doing the best right now.
you you have an important job, and it's a busy one.
Yeah,
It truly is. Maybe in all of it, maybe do some delegation.
well, I try to do that. Speaking of delegation, let me go ahead and promote Pinky as a chat moderator. Pinky leader, the next time you chat, you will come up as a moderator. Thank you for being
Congratulations.
here.
All right.
You've been cool the whole time. You brought good points in chat, but good points.
You don't
thank
start fights.
Right. Thank you for being here. You are very quantum. You came in not at the beginning of the show, but you came in after I was already rolling along, and you stuck around. And you brought good discussion to the table. So, Pinky Leader, you are now promoted to moderator. And
Yay.
you have had a very wrenching experience on the quantum. So, thank you for being here. I'm glad.
And I'll let Storm know too. So and he might know anyway. I
Yeah,
think
Pinky Leader has a
he's
great
probably
CMA.
running. Yeah, he's running Keith's show right now.
Yeah, and
there's Woo Rider.
hey, Woo. Oh yeah, quantum level is way up, dude. And we've already gone down the road of telepathy and animal telepathy and fear-based stuff, and calling things demons that aren't demons, and 5G and MK Ultra.
Swinging from the chandeliers too. We've done a little of that.
Yeah. And
There's been a lot of calling things demons that aren't demons lately. I've heard it so many times in the mainstream channels of late, and it's I find it kind of cringe when supposed leaders of the free world are saying this is demons and that is demons, and it makes me wholly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, and there's supposed to be a very decided boundary between church and state. And when you say church, we're talking about all faiths, not just a church. We're talking about faith.
Right, you're talking about the separation of church and state from a legal perspective.
Well, even having all that brought up in a government setting seems off and odd to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm saying that as an observer. I'm not involved in government. But when you start doing that, you start assuming that everybody else believes the way you do. It ain't necessarily so.
Yeah,
then
an
go ahead.
example of this was when the drones were still flying over. They kept saying that the drones were fallen angels and demons and stuff. And I was like,
It says, "Oh,
really?
do
Come
try,
on. Come
do
on.
really do try,
Imagination.
drag yourself into the 21st century. Just try, you know." It's just foolishness, and I, why in the world would you want to assign something that is as fear-inducing as demons to a mechanical device?
Well,
Right.
there were two different types of drones. What they were just
Right,
labeling drones was kind of just generic, but there were distinctly two different types of phenomena going on. You had
right,
your mechanical, but then you had these what they were also calling plasma orbs, which didn't have. They would morph and change and have different ouch,
Yeah.
morph and change and do stuff. And I've got some video on my phone of that particular phenomenon that was going on 2 years ago, and I was trying to figure out what the hell these things were. Very same thing, where I called them like a disco ball, but they would change in size and in color, and it was always like those newer Christmas lights they came out with a couple years ago, where they've got like that electric blue and that pink and
Yeah,
I think
color
like
changing
purple or
LEDs.
something. Okay, that's what this thing would do, and it would change and it would blink and do all kinds of crazy stuff, and
yeah.
and
We also forget though that the lasers have the ability to say bounce an image off of a cloud or something else
Right.
True.
and
yeah, that too.
create an image out there in the middle of it all.
Right.
So
So some
can
were
you
trying to
really
say that,
trust your own eyes on it?
yeah,
Really, we live in an age now where truth seems to be fluid. I'm just
yeah,
I've
Yeah,
seen that in my own art. I've seen that in the current state of politics, and I'm seeing that in people just in my community. There's some people that have very out there ideas in my community, and I have to be like I'm at the grocery store, dude.
yeah. Well, and I see the gamut. I live in a college town, and I'll
Yeah,
see very, very forward-thinking individuals, and I'll see others who are pissed as hell that they're not in a horse and buggy. So, and it's a
yeah,
full gamut of people, and it's all based on what the individual can accept into their mind,
yeah.
Perception.
their perception.
Perception.
I did an entire show on this, and it was not one of my more popular shows, but perception. And
but it's so true.
Right, right. And
Yeah,
I wasn't saying that to interrupt you what you were saying at all, Raven.
Oh
You're
no,
you're correct in it, but we have to know more. We don't have enough information. And we say that often here.
some people were claiming that they had a type of communication with the plasma orby ones. And I saw a couple TikTok videos of a lady that was filming one, and she was saying, she was talking to it like it was an angel, and it would, flare up and get really bright and kind of like
saw that.
communicate, I guess, with her. She felt it was. And people are just, like you were saying, they default back to what they know, what they were taught. So when we were little, of course, we were all
The,
taught.
the yeah, the
Oh, yes,
human consciousness
black,
can
black.
only
Just
the human consciousness though can only pick up what it can reference.
yeah.
Now that sounds a
right.
little strange, but when I say reference, if you see ghosts and you see them often, you can reference a ghost.
Mhm.
If you see cliche mud on a regular basis, you know what it is. If you're from Missouri, or well, no, Missouri has its own form of red clay. But if you're in, say, Ohio or some of those that might not have that experience in, say, red mud, how amazing, you
Yeah.
know? And yet, it's the same thing, that our concepts are all built on each other, all of them, from the time we start to realize there's something besides ourselves in the world. So, and each one of those experiences is different. And then our own insecurities are our securities too. What we're okay with seeing or what we're not okay with. And everybody has them.
I think the whole alien demon thing, to get back to that, really took a foothold when Tucker Carlson,
Yeah.
and he goes on Joe Rogan, and they talk about that. And it's not the first time that somebody has claimed that they know someone that's in know of government, and that those people were telling them
Bless you.
that that these aliens are demonic, and some other people have said that too. And it's always been like a secondhand type thing. It's not been actual government official. It's always been the friend of the government official that was told this, and then they're telling the rest of the public.
Yeah, and in a court of law, it would all be hearsay. Every bit of it.
Exactly. But Tucker Carlson had an experience of like at night in his bed, sleep. What do they call that? Where you're
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, and this thing attacked him. His dogs reacted to it, so something really happened. Could you get the hell off the back of
anyway, there you are, though. If an alien being would come to this world, the only things he could bring with him was his own ability to assimilate what was going on this planet or not. He would not have any reference point, though.
Right.
Unless he had seen a human being on another planet or something like us. That would equate to a reference point. Without the reference point, it isn't real.
Yeah.
And that's where we come into these terrible, terrible differences, where one person says, yes, this is real, and the other one says, no, it's not.
Right.
So there we are.
And when we're like looking at old guidebooks, sometimes we forget that Nostradamus, writing his quatrains in the 1400s, is going to see a helicopter as a locust swarm.
Yeah. Yes.
Good point.
And so is St. John in Revelations.
Context.
Yes. Yeah, it's all context.
Their ability to in their reference points.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Perceptions.
The many of our modern day mechanisms, helicopters, and some of those fit nicely into some of the quatrains in the tomes of Apocalypse and the rest of it. And we got to realize that these seers only can come from their own heart, their own experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what is this? This is what it looked like to me.
Right.
And
people who go ahead.
John of Patmos, no disrespect, but he was eating mushrooms and locusts, and he started keeping his balls off when
honey.
Yeah.
So
whatever he could scrounge up, he was absolutely stranded there, and he was a very angry and embittered person.
Yeah.
I need to address this comment from Drift. All the normies are becoming Christian years ago. The same people would be impossible to convert. The program has told them what to become, and they follow. That's also, they need a set of rules that make sense
Right.
to them. That doesn't
Yeah.
scare them. They don't have to work at it. Normies, we call
And they
them
don't have to think or work at thinking.
right.
Yeah.
I call them muggles, right?
Yeah.
I call them
That's
muggles.
right.
And yeah, Drishby, you're on the right. You got it. That's right. And I'm not trying to tell you how to think about stuff, but I call the normies muggles, like from Harry Potter, because it's, if people
It
understand.
fits.
And becoming Christian is they're looking for a set of rules that they don't have to think about. I know this guy at work, okay?
Which, if you read the book, is the antithesis of what Christ was teaching.
It sure
I'm
right.
was.
Right. If you look at
Sorry, that's mine.
I didn't do it. I swear.
Wait a
Nobody's
Hey,
taught me you can't prove it.
whoever's calling is quantum.
Yeah, no, you're right. The rule book. I'm not ashamed to say that I had to walk away from all of that because I will not be contained. And I think all of us here in particular have that mindset. We will not be contained.
Right. And Drift, let me recommend Morgue Official website, or he's here on YouTube. He doesn't do now. He looks very
Odd.
he looks very gothic, and he looks very Slytherin. But listen to what he's talking about. He's a big nerd. Okay, it's cool. It's cool. I follow Morgue, right?
Yeah, I do too.
And he
That's the
talks
way.
about what he talks about what Jesus was preaching. Ironically, you look at all his stuff, and it's like it's almost as if he's showing Satanistic stuff. He's not. Okay, it's self-empowerment, which is bad for city state. And I heard something.
I did too.
Mhm. I do too.
Well,
And it was from somebody there, not here.
yeah, I heard something, and it was
Ooh, I heard it again.
Now,
That
Storm
was
just
weird.
got up
I can't.
on my side.
No, it was like someone speaking.
Mhm.
Huh.
Okay, well, hey, like
Wow.
and subscribe if you're here. I love
You're
it.
here at Quantum.
I love the anomalies show up. I love it. I love it. But
We
anyway,
get that
I
option.
wanted to say, sorry. Hi, Justin. I wasn't ignoring you. We got into it, right? Hey, welcome to the show. Yeah, Pinky said they heard it.
Yeah.
I heard something as I was talking about Morgue Official.
Yeah.
Ironically, yeah, and I heard, and I was like, "What? What was?" I interrupted myself, but he talks about what Jesus was preaching. It looks like he's all about pointy faces and scary, intimidating things, but it's all kind of window dressing. Okay, it's his YouTube presence.
Yeah, it's a shtick, we used to call it.
Right.
He used to wear makeup.
Yeah,
he did.
He's got this choker that he likes to wear because it's like edgy and like, wow, he's so weird. Well, he's not. I'm sure he's.
Well, we all get in our 40s eventually.
He's got long blonde hair. He's cool.
He looks very Slytherin. Okay, very
yeah,
Slytherin.
yeah.
But he's good. I mean, I have to say,
he knows his stuff, and he's really, really well researched.
A deep diver. He's a deep diver. Yeah, thumbs up to Morgue Official from the Quantum Show. I know he'll probably never see that, but that's okay.
Well, we may as well put a link in there for him. What the hell?
Yeah, I'll put
everybody else is there.
At the end of the show, I will put Morgue stuff at the end of the show.
A lot of I won't speak for anybody else here, but for myself, I had to walk away from a lot of it because things were being attributed to the to the master, if you will, that he didn't mean, and it was clear outside of his character. And much of that was put out there by a certain apostle and some more by other disciples. The disciples did not deviate from the main message of Christ, but the apostle did, and so did the apocalyptical books. So it's one of the reasons why I walked away from those. You know, I've said before, and I'll say it again, I've never had a problem with Jesus of Nazareth. Never.
Right.
Me neither.
It's
You know,
the church has sprung. The churches
it's what
came from all that.
came after.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the thing is, the thing has been mistranslated. It's been edited. Council of Nicaea decided what was in, what was out. And
St. John, or I should say John the First, King John the First, rewrote the Bible.
Right.
James, the King James version that we have now, there's some things were edited. And he was a misogynist. He really was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Most of them were.
And
that came from the certain apostle that I don't care for too.
Yeah.
And Jesus, by his action, and by his word, and by his deed, was as pure an individual as he could have been. So, you know, take that, take it or leave it. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
This is the whole show, but we're talking about like whole mind consciousness, and he had it going on, right?
Oh, he sure did.
So does Morg Official, and he is also an author. His books are on Amazon. Be in the description after, right? And it's Morg Official, like morgue, like the city morgue official. And go check him out, please.
Yeah.
If you like, you know. If you need a set of rules to follow, that he's got a pretty good set going on, right? And but coming back to the whole mind shared consciousness telepathy thing, right? I joke around and I say Raven is here from the cat dimension, but as you see, it's not much
There
of
always seems to be more of them. Anyway, how do you do that? Oh, no, shut up, Lynn. You don't want that explanation.
No.
But like
I like to tease her about those cats.
Yeah, Raven has got a link going on with those cats. It's a shared consciousness. Raven, you may not know to put that word to it. That's how I'm looking at and I'm interpreting it, because they got that's part of their language. All that stuff is their language to you, and you know you've been doing this. I mean, all the cat people I know who have cats like you and well, a lot of us, right? There is a shared consciousness there that it comes so easily. When I go over to my mom's, it comes so easily that they know me, you know, and I haven't been going over there lately too much for reasons, right? Not bad, just reasons. And
well, you're a very busy person.
Yeah, I meant to go over there today, but like the force said no. Said no, you don't need to go anywhere today. You need to stay home. So I was wanting to go over, but something said don't go over. Something said don't do anything but do your laundry. So I did. But yeah, there are, like, we all have our animals. Like, I am in the environment here, okay? And honestly, I have spirits walking around here that we all have an understanding, and it's not spoken. They don't speak to me with words. They come up here, okay? And to the new people, if anybody wants to see it, go see my shows on the cemetery. It was crazy. And it was like, it's me saying it, okay?
That was straight out of Twilight Zone.
Yeah, when I say something is weird and crazy, it is like orders of magnitude, all right?
Yes.
Real. I mean, when I'm saying something's weird and crazy, it will be like
Yeah.
it's like beyond like weird and crazy.
It's a farther dimension of weird.
Oh,
Yes.
orders of magnitude more.
Yeah, that
Um,
that was an amazing story, though. It really was,
oh god.
and I don't doubt one bit of it.
I was finally able to tell that story without getting super emotional and having like reliving it to where I was like crying and screaming because yeah, it's that kind of experience, dude. It really was. But anyway, that's part of my shared consciousness here is I've got there are two spirits, maybe three, I'm not sure. One of them comes and goes. Got one is Charles, he used to live here, and one is a little kid who showed up on camera behind the scenes for Lynn one time.
Yeah, I saw him.
Oh,
That was cool.
That was different. I mean, they were through fast, and all I saw was a high bye.
Mhm.
And it was a
Aw.
high bye. You know,
Yeah. And
I thought, oh, that's neat.
yeah, Charles makes himself known quite often with like direct talking to me, and now since I've been getting like Bring It On, I've been able to understand him more, and it's interesting. It's mostly small talk, really, but it's like he was very opinionated old guy, so he has a lot of complaints. What you gonna do?
No,
And there,
they do though.
yeah, and there's the matron who I don't.
I feel
God bless you.
I am a Force Ghost too, Robot Jim.
Where we
I
at?
feel that Robot Jim.
Hi, Robot Jim.
He said I call it being undermotivated, but I like the Force better. Going to tell my wife that I feel I might be a Force Ghost later. Laugh out loud. I think I may be a Force Ghost later too.
Well, is she mad at you? It could be sooner. I don't know. I'm just playing with you there, Robot.
Oh, Pinky, the first hour I did almost a whole slideshow, and it was just me not looking at anything but my screen filled with slides, and I couldn't tell what was going on the show. It was just me talking to a room.
It's really hard to produce a show, put up visuals, then chat, and then I mean that is multitasking in the extreme.
Yeah, and it's wears me out every week, but I love it. I love it. I just don't
Yeah.
ask for merch that's easy. Okay, merch is not easy, but
Well, it's like putting another ball in the air when you're a juggler.
mm-hmm.
Each one has to stay up there too.
Right. But we all have our like. I have the spirits here. Raven, obviously, well, obvious to me, has her cats there, and
Well, I have nature. I have fairies, nature spirits out here too.
okay. So
You don't have any ghosts, though, do you, Raven?
Not
Or
that. No, there's one that lives in the little house next door. It's abandoned and it's falling apart. And there's an old man in there, and sometimes he watches me from the windows. And he's like around. He's kind of like a mechanic type dude, like from the 1920s or 30s.
Sure.
Yeah. And he kind of freaks me out a little bit. But yeah, the nature spirits around here are so active that I have to keep my keys in the ignition in the Jeep at all times because I can't ever find my keys if I take them out. They disappear.
Oh.
So I leave the keys in the vehicle all the time.
Yeah, that sounds like what pixies or something like that nature. Yeah, I have to yell at them around here occasionally.
Yeah, between
You
them
know,
and the
bring it
raccoon.
back, or I'm gonna start inviting y'all out. You know, and I hate it when that stuff happens. So
Oh, that happened. I will go over this. My sister is deep into it too. She has some kind of nature spirits over there. I'll go over this story again. This was so cool.
Yeah.
She had me house sitting because at the time she had 3 big dogs, right?
uh-huh.
This was so cool. This was such a cool story. She has 3 big dogs, and she had me house sit while she had to go out of town for work or something, right? And um, I now it was 4 days, right? All first 3 days, everything normal, everything boring, everybody on schedule, Hakuna Matata, right? Really, yeah,
Sorrow.
right. Everything was
No.
chill, and everything was chill. Went as expected on day 4. Okay, the night before, all of a sudden I heard scratching in the wall, and it's not a thick wall. I heard scratching in the wall, and I was like, "Wow, that's interesting." And then I smelled smoke, and the fire alarm went off. Okay,
Oh.
now I kind of partially debunked it as now the energies are already up. All right, I partially debunked it as they had a new install of uh, a furnace, and it was gas.
You
Only a
froze.
partial debunk. Now hold up,
Okay, there you
there's
go.
more. Okay, now that was the night before, and before that, I had also had to go to the bathroom in their second bathroom, right? And the curtain always moved, and it wasn't me breathing on it, and there was no fans or anything in there, and I always heard scurrying around inside the tub the whole time. Okay, and I was like, I scared it away, I believe, because I turned this on and I went, "Oh, hello," or I addressed it, and it was like, "Ooh, poof, gone." Okay, that was interesting. I told my sister about it, and she was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. They're just here." But the next morning, okay, I went to feed them. Now these are 3 big dogs, and she's got the giant silver TV bowls for each one. Okay,
Uh-huh.
here's what happened. All right, I in the morning we had a routine. I would go, I'd pick up all the bowls, and set them on the counter, and she had this like 4 foot thing where she would have all the dog stuff, and I went. Now every morning I picked up all the bowls. I went to go pick up the bowls. One was missing. Couldn't find it anywhere. It's not a huge place. I went over, around, and around, and I was so frustrated. I was working on getting ready to be late for work, right? So I was like,
Those things can't be picked up by a mouth usually.
"What?" Right? They're like, like
Yeah.
giant bowls, like
Yeah.
see on like TV. Would had dogs have giant bowls? That's what she has. And
Huh.
here's what happened. I went around. I was so frustrated, and I just leaned against the counter. I go, "Can I please have the bowls back?" I look down. It's right there.
Hmm.
It is right. I'm leaning against the counter. I turn the counter 4 foot dog thing. A little, what do they call that thing? The fabric that covers the bottom of a mattress. One of them, right?
That's great.
One of
That's
them.
great.
Yeah. And I look down. It's right there in front of that thing. Okay. I. It's like
You
a
look for
figure.
it. It should if you would if yeah, you'd have seen it.
I would have tripped over it. It was
Yeah.
right there, and I was like, "Oh, thank you." I was still real frustrated, right? So like, "Oh, thank you." And the dogs were getting antsy, like, "Hey, I'm ready to eat. Come on now," you know.
We know you
And
got it in there. Relinquish.
right, so it just appeared right there. So she's got something over there, but she has since made friends with it. I gave her a crystal and I said, "Hey," and she said when she put that crystal where she put it in her place, all the little weird stuff started ramping up. I'm like, "Yep, it's an amplifier too, by the way." All that stuff started amping up.
Oh boy.
So, and another funny thing was, here's what. Then she came home and everything was fine, and I told her, I gave her the reports and everything, and I said this happened, that happened, and by the way, I think you got gnomes or something. She goes, "Oh well, yeah, I already know about it." I'm like, okay, well, I came home, right, and my roommate says, "Hey, I came home, and my roommate says, 'Hey, could you take me to the store?' I take him to the store. I bring him back, and uh, I have to go somewhere, right? So I go somewhere and I get back and he can't find his debit card. So I'm like, okay, well, he says, can I look in your car? And I'm like, sure, let's go look at the car. I got flashlights and stuff. Let's go. We go look at the car. It's not in the car. I'm like, okay, let's go look in your area. This was cool. I don't know. I have no words, right? But I was like, let's go look in your area, in your rooms. And we go there and I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, eliminating not this one, not this one, not this one. And I turn around, it's right in front of me. It is literally right in front of me. All right. I'm like, oh, what is up here? Because see, I was thinking, I didn't know I had just moved in and I didn't know him very well yet. I thought he's gonna think I took his credit card to the store and
Ooh.
he's buying my credit. I was like, dude, and I walked down there. I barely started, and I'm like, "Here it is." And he's like, "Oh, well, where was it?" I'm like, "It was right here." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was right here, right in the middle of the floor." I'm like, I don't know. I, I have no words. Okay, that's all. That's what happened.
Yeah, that had potential for a war.
Right. I have no way to
Yeah.
say, dude, I swear I didn't have your card. I said,
Mhm.
You know,
I swear I
we've
didn't have your
lost.
card and pretended like I found it.
Yeah.
But that
It's,
happened, and that happened from one day to the next.
no.
So
You
yeah,
I always put things precisely back where they belong. That's me. That does not mean the rest of my family's like that because they
right.
sure aren't.
Trick
But
the same.
I always figured if I wanted scissors, they should be in the same spot every time. But it's how I think.
Mhm.
And I went to try to find, and it was a gold ring with a green stone in it. Green stone, very important to me. And is chrome dioxide, and most people know them as Siberian emeralds. Okay, it's very old, and it came at the cost of lives, I think, because sometimes it gets snotty with me. And anyway, I had mislaid it. I don't mislay stuff like that. It always goes back in the same spot.
Mhm.
So it's not there. It's not there. I find the ring, but the stone is not in it. I'm going, now what? Looked around close by to this ring, no stone. Finally, I got frustrated and I called our Keith and I said, Keith, I can't find my ring. And I said, I know you're good at finding these things. And it's funny when you're involved in it, it's harder to do than if you get somebody else who's not involved in it. So I said, Keith, I've lost this ring. Can you see it? No, I've lost this stone in particular, a ring I had. And he goes, well, yeah, it's beneath your couch, underneath a lamp. How in the hell is it? So I couldn't move the couch right away, but I kept that in mind. And when I got the couch out, there's the thing sitting there grinning at me like, yeah, I've been waiting on you. Where you been?
Yep.
You know, and there you go. And it's a kind of it's another part of the spectrum of psychic ability.
Mhm.
You know, he called me one day and said, I have lost a set of or a bracelet that belongs to my son and belonged to his girlfriend, and he needs to find it, and I can't locate it. And I said, going in through the entry, you will see a chair to the left. It's under it. Well, more specifically, it was underneath a couch cushion, underneath a chair cushion. How it got there, he doesn't know, and I don't know either.
Yeah.
But there it was, you know, and that's how our abilities work back and forth quite often.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I can't find something, I call our Keith. But if he can't find it, he calls me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Because when you're too close to it and too emotionally invested in it,
exactly.
blocks out all your psychic ability.
Well, that ring in particular, I was quite fond of and had reasons for wanting back. You know, as part of my family. And it's things like this, you know, psychic sometimes depends on their gifts, of course, can locate stuff. People, located people, and things of that. People that have gone missing over time. Where are they? You know.
Oh,
They're in the inner earth with the lizard people.
those are a couple other shows that we're not
Oh
going to
boy,
get.
are they?
Oh,
yeah, that can be a long, long story.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a
can't
bunch
we?
of topics.
We ought to try for some of those. I mean, we do it once a week, and you know, there's a finite amount of time.
Yeah. But speaking of finite amounts of time, we're approaching the 2-hour mark now, and I keep a format, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Everybody in the audience, thank you for joining the Quantum Show panel discussion. We were talking about Unimatrix Human, our own shared consciousness, and the awakening of everyone having it, even the muggles. And yeah, everybody, thanks, Justin. Nice to meet you too, man. Thank you for coming. And
all the new people, you know,
Drift Speed.
We changed it up a lot. There's a lot of different topics here.
Yeah, Drift Speed. Hope you like and subscribe. That this was informative or entertaining or something, right? Hope so. And Tim, thanks for joining. Raven, Lynn, thanks for coming on and being in my panel.
I always enjoy being with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And we went over quite a bit today. We went over half of a slideshow, and the other half, download. It's easier to watch than have me present it within an hour. Okay. It's just zip through it if you're just watching it. So please go do. And there are rules for it. So to make it more effective and mental discipline, it comes easy. After you do it a couple times, you'll, oh yeah, I do this. Just like you know, a skill like typing or empathy or assembly. Think not assembly programming.
Everything can be done. You know,
like put together a model car.
Depends on what you're willing to put into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And thanks everybody in the chat for coming back to the Quantum Show.
Hi, Andrew's sisters.
Andrew's sisters.
They are. They're sisters.
Are they sisters?
They are.
Like real life?
Yeah, for real.
Another mystery solved.
I had no idea. Rachel, Renee, are y'all actually sisters?
Yeah, they're sisters.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, 2 quantums for the price of 1? Awesome.
Nice.
Yes. I didn't know y'all were at all. I had no idea. That happened. I thought, Rachel, I thought you were in England, and that's my own thing with Obi-Wan. I'm sorry about that. My
Oh,
bad.
that's terrific.
I had no
And they
idea.
are no. I don't believe they're related to Keith, though.
No. I don't believe so. But I had no idea you two were sisters. That's cool as hell. Okay, well, anyway. Oh, your speed
It
is
was
kicking
quantum.
right in. Stay quantum. We're staying. Really? Oh man.
Wow.
You got to
Y'all-
see. I got some pictures. Let me remind me. I got to show you the alien that they have on their front door, and
I
they dress
want-
him up for the season. So I would assume by now that he's wearing a shamrock or has a little leprechaun hat on or whatever.
Oh my God!
He's got.
Well, those two are after my own heart. They really are.
I love
They're
it.
great.
It's a really fun, creative idea they came up with, and they just kept it up there, and then they just changed his clothes and.
That's cool. It's awesome.
How much fun is that? Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It's awesome.
Drift, the next show is going to be on Saturday, if all goes well. And sometimes I come up with shorts, but not very often. So it's going to be Saturday at my time, 9 p.m. That's for the solo. I call it solo.
And that's 9 p.m. Central for you, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Right.
for me and Raven, it's the same. Me, Raven, and Tim, it's the same time.
Yeah.
So we're all in the same time zone. And yeah, Saturday, and then afterwards we do the panel. So thanks for finding us. I'm glad you found us, and hope you like
You
and
were destined to.
subscribe
believe
and hang
me.
around, because I don't know. I feel that we have something to offer that we can all learn from. But anyway, we've kept it quantum the whole way through. We had my camera moving around. That was awesome. We
That
had
was
Cat
different.
Dimension really chiming in, and we talked about we ran the gamut today, and it started with telepathy. Unimatrix human. I want to thank everybody for coming out once again. I'm going to start pushing buttons.
Pushing
And-
buttons.
Thanks for coming in,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Thanks to our moderators. You guys are awesome.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Pushing buttons. Pushing